Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. If it's your first time seeing me, go ahead and like this video because I know you're going to like it already. Subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you never miss another upload. And if you already are subscribed, hey babies, welcome back. So today guys, we're going to be talking about hard truths that you discover on your journey. First things first, I want to thank you guys for selling out my first ever virtual tarot class. All of the seats are sold out. I am thinking about having another class though. So if you guys missed the first virtual tarot class, if you don't even know what the virtual tarot class is, go back in a few videos back. I did a video about a virtual tarot class and I'm hosting that starting on June 30th. Like I said, all of the seats are sold out, so thank you guys so much. I'm definitely thinking about doing another class though after this one finishes, so let me know if you missed it and you want me to do another one, and I definitely will be thinking about it. But yeah, I wanted to thank you guys for your support so much and everything that I do. I appreciate you guys, and I know you guys have been enjoying the recent uploads. I've been seeing you guys' comments, so I appreciate y'all. But let's get into this video, guys. So, hard truths that you learn on your journey. I feel like there are so many things that we learn on our journey that make us question, is this even what I'm supposed to be doing? Do I even want to do this? My life was so much simpler before I even knew what a Mercury retrograde was, before I even paid attention to the full moon, or before I even was focused on what my rising was and how their twin flame from their second life is affecting us. You know, it's like there's so much other things that come into play when you are awakened or when you are tapped into this level of consciousness that we are all plugged into. You know, there's so many more details and so much more to pay attention to. So there are plenty of hard truths that we deal with that are really just a part of the journey. So let's go ahead and get into it. I would probably say the first hard truth that we can get into is just understanding that acceptance is more valuable than just cutting everybody out of your life. You know, I definitely feel like I touched on this in my last video about isolation, but definitely before, you know, in a couple of videos prior, I've talked about, you know, how important it is to just accept people's differences and accept that everyone will not feel how you do. Everyone will not find value in meditation. Everyone will not find value in the new you. Everyone won't want to listen to your advice. Everybody doesn't care about the new things that you're doing that are elevating you so much and lifting you up so much. There's going to be a lot of people that just are not supportive of you when you are completely a totally different new person. And so many times we could think it's an attack on us. It's just so much stress and judgment that we deal with when we are first getting into this journey, you know, having to tell people that you're not interested in certain things anymore, having to tell people that certain stuff isn't your style. If you grow out of drama, if you outgrow a lot of mess, if you outgrow a lot of gossip and stuff that you feel isn't serving your best self, you know what I'm saying? Just realizing how a lot of things around you are not serving you. It may, or, well, the hardest truth about that is that that's always going to be the case. You know, in every space that you're in, you're always going to have something that needs to be better, something that isn't quite aligned, because you're only in control of your energy and the alignment that you have within yourself. In any friend group, at any job, in any home, in any space you're in, any state you move to, anything that you do, there's always going to be something that isn't serving you, something that isn't perfect, something that isn't giving you exactly what you need. And that's definitely a hard truth, because we do so much work on this journey to get the job of our dreams, or the partner of our dreams, or the family that we've always wanted, and then we get these things and it's like, shit, you know, this doesn't, you know, cure my depression or cure my anxiety or cure any of my past trauma or any of my past pain. So another hard truth in that hard truth I was just talking about is that we really aren't in control of anything. You know, it's like a lot about this journey is about controlling your energy, controlling your vibe, controlling how you respond to things, controlling what happens with manifestation. But God is really in control, and that is such a hard truth, but also one of the biggest blessings, because there are so many things that we would mess up or tear down or light on fire and torch completely if we had our hands on it. And to be honest, that's 99% of the things that we do. You know, God is really guiding us through every single thing. So even when things fail, or even when relationships fail, or friendships fail, or we experience so much pain and trauma, it's like there is something that we can take out of that. You know, that's another hard truth. Figuring out or realizing that the things that you experience, all of the terrible, terrible things that we experience in this life, lead to beautiful things, you know, lead to healing and revelations and, you know, new ideas and new thought processes and new things that can help you and your children and your friends and the people that connect with them. It's like we are all so connected, and the decisions that we make affect us, but also everything around us. So making the best decisions that you can make for yourself definitely positively, impacts your environment significantly. But also, if you keep making the wrong decisions for yourself, that impacts your environment significantly as well. More stress, you'll be overwhelmed, you'll feel unfulfilled, everybody will start to annoy you. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you are on this journey, you have to be so particular about your energy and what you allow and who you allow to be around you and what you tolerate, because just the smallest offense or just the slightest tick in vibration could literally send you spiraling, depending on how sensitive you are to those kind of energies. That's a hard truth too. Like, the deeper connected you are, it's like the worse things hurt, and the more transparent you get to see things. It's like the more you know, the harder the blow is every time that you get more and more hard facts about the stuff that you know. Like, it's so confusing, and I think that's also kind of the joy and the beauty in it, because it really keeps you humble. I feel like, if anything, nothing has humbled me but this journey, and but God, and but my relationship with God. I can definitely say that. I definitely feel if I was not a spiritual being on this journey, if I did not have the relationship with God that I had, I'm already very big-headed. I would be a menace, seriously, if I did not have God humbling me. Like, this is such a humbling experience, just being able to understand and realize all of the things that make you who you are, and how everything is really connected, and how you really are only the main character in your story, and how you have control over what no one else does to you, how they feel about you, any of that. It's such a humbling experience, and it's a hard truth, yes, but it's also kind of like, I also feel like a lot of these hard truths, there's so much good in these things, like the difficulty and the confusion. And I feel like I'm jumping all over the place in this video, because there's so much to be said about this, but I feel like the difficulty about losing friends and realizing that people can't relate to you anymore, like, that's something that's so hard. But through that, you're able to accept people for their differences. Through that, you're able to accept yourself for the things that are different about you. Because a lot of times in friendships, if you're different than somebody else, then you might feel like you're wrong, or you might feel like they're wrong. And that isn't ever the case. Nobody is wrong. We're just right. And sometimes we are no longer right for each other, but that doesn't mean that we're wrong. They have the right to find people who love them and support them and can accept them as the person that they are. And if you find that you can't accept someone for who they are, then you have the ability to let them go. And that is a gift, hard truth, but it's a gift that we can realize what doesn't belong to us and let it go. Like, it's so difficult, when you got your family members telling you you're going to hell, and, you got people not believing you, and people, bringing up old shit from the past, and everybody around you is still doing the same stuff, and you're just trying to be different and break the mold and get something new to kind of grow in the same old soil. It can be really frustrating to feel like the blessing in this is I'm supposed to cut everybody off and move to a different space, or I'm supposed to accept everybody for how they are and feel differently and create new relationships with everybody. It's always such a big shift that comes attached to these very, very, very hard truths. It's like the hardest parts of the journey are where the most transformation happens. You know what I'm saying? Find people that can relate to your higher self is magic. It's definitely life-changing, and I feel like I've been in plenty of those moments. Just recently I went to a birthday dinner of a dear friend of mine, a new friend that I met since I'm back outside. Like I told y'all, I isolated myself for a long time, but I'm back outside now. I'm meeting people, I'm enjoying myself, enjoying life. And I went to a birthday dinner of a good friend of mine, and the guest list for the dinner was spectacular. Everyone there looked amazing and felt amazing, and it was just incredible to be around other people who were young and successful and happy for each other and happy for themselves, and good vibes, nothing funny, no funny shit. Like, I have never been around that many women where everyone was just like so confident in themselves, so confident in the women to the left and the right of them, even if they didn't know each other before. Like, most of us were strangers. A lot of us didn't know each other, but everyone came together, for, of course, my dear friend's birthday, and the vibe was just impeccable. Being able to look around and be like, wow, this is where I fit in. Wow, this is a space that I have attracted. Wow, this is exactly what I needed on this Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whenever you do make choices to understand exactly who you are, even though it is a very, very hard truth, and even though it is a very hard realization, but whenever you do make those choices and you step into the person that you are, it's like you instantly become a magnet for everyone else who is going to serve you and lift you up and give you what you need. So hard truth, but yes, very, very big blessing in that. And again, another hard truth that we are not in control, but it's a blessing that we aren't in control, because there's so many things that we would have dropped the ball on, or we are so scared to do so many things. Like, imagine how many of us were afraid to quit our jobs and literally ended up having to get fired, and you getting fired is what allowed you to start your business or take care of yourself more or find a job that was perfect for you because you were unhappy in the first one. How many times did God have to push you out of a bad relationship or push you into a new space or push you into trying something new where it literally was like, it's this way or the highway. There's no other options. I'm backed into a corner. I have to do this. And you do it, and it changes your life. It saves your life. It makes you a better person. Sometimes not having control can be a good thing, but it's a hard thing because ego, that's a hard truth as well, that there really is no place for ego on this journey, and everything has a place. But in your journey, the only thing that you can do with your ego is learn from it. That's it. Learn from it and find ways to allow your ego to empower you when you need that empowerment, but not let it get, out of hand. Your ego is literally like a dog that's on a leash made of like floss. You know what I'm saying? You can't do nothing with that floss. You can't do nothing with that leash. You can't really do anything you can, but it's difficult to reel your ego back in because your ego just grows and grows and grows. It's like you have to be careful when you're feeding certain elements of yourself, because we do need ego and we do need pride. We do need things that remind us of who we are. We do need things that let us keep in mind what we deserve. You do need your ego to tell you to cut that motherfucker off. You do need your pride to tell you that, look, this is beneath us. We need a bounce. You do need those energies sometimes, but finding that balance, is a hard truth as well, because the things that can harm us can also really, really serve us if we find a correct way to make them blend. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that can confuse us and stress us out, if we find the correct way to fit it into our life, or we find a place where it can serve us in our life, it can really change our life and elevate everything around us, elevate our relationships, our career, how we dream, how we imagine, how we picture things, literally across the board. Also in your journey, you are constantly evolving. You know what I'm saying? There are going to be times when you have to realize like, wow, I was in the wrong. I wasn't right here. You know what I'm saying? I made a bad call. I made a bad choice. And it really you feel so shitty when you make mistakes when you're on this journey, because you try so hard to be good and be positive and be happy and be healthy and be this new higher version of yourself. And there really is a sense of, kind of shame or guilt, or just, you really do feel low whenever you make mistakes, on this journey. That's why we stress so much how to get back on the journey whenever you fall off, how to get back into your routines, how to find your why, how to find the reasons, that you need to motivate you and keep you going forward, because you're not going to be on 100% every single day. So that's another hard truth as well. No matter how much time you spend studying this stuff and getting readings and learning how to do your own readings and developing these abilities and stuff like that, you are still human. You are very much human. And what you're looking for, that you want to put your hands on in this journey, you are not going to be able to put your hands on it until you physically die, And that probably sounds very morbid, but what you are looking to taste and feel and step into in terms of your spiritual journey and who you want to be, and aligning with your higher self and being at your absolute best, like the version of you that you can just taste, that just is sweet as honey, like we all are very, very connected with the version of us that's closely connected to God, but you will never be that version of you because you're human right now. So you kind of are constantly chasing something that's unattainable until you realize, like, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm still going to lie. I'm still going to be selfish. I'm still going to snap on people. My shadow self is never going to be 100% healed. I'm still going to deal with these issues. I'm still going to procrastinate. I'm still going to stress. I'm still going to have insecurities. Whenever you realize that and you see this journey is just you using tools and, of course, connecting with God, that's literally the whole point of the journey, connecting with God on your own and figuring out who God is for you and building that connection so nothing can break it. Or if it does get broken because you're stressed or you're frustrated or you forget that you have someone watching over you that loves you and knows you and created you, you have that relationship so you can go back and get back in touch. You know, you won't be completely lost in the world because you know that you have God no matter what. And it's about building that connection and strengthening that connection so you can call on God whenever you need to. And so you have a relationship with God, because how else are you going to get through this fucking life? You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to pick something to believe in. You need to find something, you know, that makes you feel whole and makes you feel like, you know, there is a bigger purpose and a bigger reason. And there is, you know what I'm saying? And I really feel like that's the whole umbrella goal, you know, of the journey. But a big part of that is being the best version of yourself that you can be, so you can help as many people and, you know, really shine your light, because the life of your dreams relies on you being the person of your dreams. So we hold so much weight on us being perfect and us being on point and us listening to spirit and not being stressed and, you know, being positive. But that really creates an unhealthy environment that makes you feel like you're wrong for stressing, or you're wrong for not being in the mood to do yoga, or wanting to take a day off from your routine, or, you know, thinking about something that you cord cut, or thinking about an ex that you know you're not supposed to be thinking about. It's like, another hard truth on this journey is that you are human, and that you're always going to be human, and no amount of crystals or readings or divinity, you can get up in this bitch and be levitating. You still a human, you still a person, you know what I'm saying? And the energy of enlightenment that a lot of us are searching for, we will not get it, you know what I'm saying, until we pass on. And ain't nothing wrong with that, but it's about making the most out of what's realistic for you as a human being. It's not realistic for you to be perfect. It's not realistic for you to never make a mistake. It's not realistic for you to learn these things and always go to them and never have a day off and never have an off day. That's just not realistic, you know? So that's something else too. It's like when you step into this journey, you feel like you can be anything and do anything, and you can cure yourself of all of this pain and trauma. And it is not really like that, you know? And that doesn't mean that it's any less miraculous, because what you can actually do in this human experience is still remarkable. You know, it's remarkable that we can deal with trauma and pain and abuse of any kind and still get up every day and follow our dreams and be beautiful and put on makeup, you know, and look fabulous and take care of our man and our wives and our children and our husbands, you know what I'm saying, and our partners and our friends and family. Like, it's a blessing that anybody can wake up and be good and choose to be good, you know, like that is a gift. This life isn't about being perfect. It's not about having the most or learning the most. It's not about any of that. It's really just about enjoying it, you know, enjoying it and not allowing the bad stuff that happens to be your total story, because there's bad that's going to happen to everybody. We're all going to experience trauma and a lot of terrible stuff. All of us will, but there is good in the bad, you know, there's good moments in between the bad, and you have to hold on to the good and focus on the good. And that's a hard truth as well, because it's so hard to focus on the good, because, you know, if there's light everywhere and there's just a speck of darkness, you can see the darkness, you know. But it's also vice versa, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if there's darkness everywhere and there's a speck of light, you can choose to focus on the light. But I feel like just how our subconscious minds are programmed, we're just conditioned to look at the dark and look at the dark and look at the dark. So it takes a lot of conditioning and reconditioning. Like, your first spiritual awakening is all fairy tales and crystals and rainbows and love potions, you know what I'm saying, and manifesting and getting your car and your apartment and stuff like that. And then your second spiritual awakening, when your third eye is cracked like an egg and you got visions and you're feeling like you're about to die because you're seeing people and stuff. It's like, we go through so many awakenings in this lifetime, and you never really know it all. And, you know, again, it's a humbling experience, you know, to just feel like every day there's going to be something new that you learn. And that's something I've realized as of late, because I am not perfect, guys. I know, shocker. I am really not perfect. I'm really fucked up. Like, I feel like just for me, I've realized a lot of things that I do that are not good, and it's just been me for so long that it's just been me, and I never really, you know, had a problem with it. These things keep me safe, and it just is what it is. But as you change and your community changes, you know, just getting out of survival mode and truly, you know, creating a new version of you, interacting with other people. I feel like that's another hard truth as well. It's like, you can become a new version of you on your own. That's cute, but you also happen to be a new version of you in relationships and friendships and family. So I definitely am just in the process of, like, I don't want to say perfecting, but just molding every version of me and thinking about who I am specifically in friendships, specifically in my relationships, specifically for you guys, just across the board, and making sure that all versions of me are versions of me that I can be proud of, you know? I've spent most of my time with myself. I feel like most of my time I do spend with myself. You know, I work for myself, by myself at home. I'm literally home most of the time. I spend more time now with anybody else or any other people, you know, that I have in a while, but I do still spend a great deal of my time alone. And I feel like that's true for a lot of us. We spend a lot of time alone, so we know how to be a good person. For us, it's easy, but you have to be a good person for everybody around you in every role, you know? So it's a lot of pressure. But then it really isn't, because if you just release all of the I want to be perfect, you will be exactly who they need you to be, you know? And that's something that I had to realize too. A lot of times we try so hard, like the effort is what tires you out and weighs you down and makes you feel so exhausted. And by the time you put all of this effort in, your effort, you put your human effort and your conscious effort, all you know to do, into something, and you're like, oh Lord, I ain't got nothing left in me. It's up to you, God. I'm gonna let go and let God fix it. And he fixed it immediately. It's fixed. It's like, that's all we had to do from jump, is just release it. It's like, don't even try. I don't even try to humanly figure stuff out anymore. Like any issue or any confusion, I'm like, what did it say, God? Let me focus on something else. I don't even try. It's like, and that could be so scary, to really take your hands off of the wheel and just be like, God will drive. But that's a hard truth. And that's something, you know, very, very difficult to learn. And it's something that I'm still learning for sure, but I feel like that's when I've gotten the most release, because it allows me to be stress-free, because I'm not, you know, working all the time. And it also allows me to be ready when the moment does come. You know, it's like, I might not be working 24/7 every single day, but when I have an idea, that I'm on it until it's right, and then I execute, and then I'm on to the next one, you know? So just honoring all parts of yourself, you know what I'm saying, is so important on this journey, and realizing that all parts of yourself are not going to be this optimal worker bee that you see yourself as. It's like, find some different versions of you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, your higher self is one thing. You at your absolute best, most productive, is one thing. There's also a version of you at rest, and a version of you in love, and a version of you, you know, when you're learning. Like, there's so many different versions of you, and honoring all of those is so key, because, you know, another hard truth, whatever you don't honor is going to literally break free and knock all of your shit over. Literally. Like, if you do not honor a part of you, if you are putting a part of you on the shelf and you are not giving yourself what you need because you're trying to be perfect, or you're trying to be right, or you're trying to just be aligned and stay positive, you're eventually going to explode, and it's going to be so much harder to get back to the top. So it's like, a lot of the stuff that we do is really contradictory, you know, just like I talked about in my isolation video, cutting everybody off and then being like, oh dang, I need my friends, you know what I'm saying? Or being in a space where we're being so hard on ourselves about something, and it's just like, oh wait, this isn't even for me to be worried about. Or being so, you know, focused on what other people do to us. Again, nothing is personal. That's something else that's a hard pill to swallow. Nothing is personal. What people do to you is based on what they're thinking about in their brain, in their journey. Remember, they're their main character. So just like you're operating your sim, your life, you know, I'm sitting down, I told myself, make a YouTube video. That's what I'm doing right now with my sim. Everybody else around me operating their sims, you know. I don't know what you telling your brain to do. All I can do is make sure that whatever you do to me, I don't allow it to mess up what I have going on. That's all we have control over. No control is one thing. Realizing that you can't take stuff personally is another thing, because you do bad stuff to people too, you know, and that's something I had to realize as well. Like, I've hurt people, you know, I have people in my life that I've loved, that I've hurt. So it's like, can I really, you know, look at someone that, you know, loved me and hurt me as like Lucifer personified if I've done the same thing? That's not who I am, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we treat people based on how we feel we need to, and also how we can, because that changes from moment to moment. You know, if you have mental health issues, you might not be able to give 100% good, genuine love how you want to all the time. You know, if you have a lot of stuff on your plate, a lot of stress, if you're spread too thin, if you're overwhelmed, if you're trying to figure yourself out right now, you might not be able to be the best version of yourself. That doesn't mean you're a shitty, fucked up person. You know, it just means that you're dealing with shit. Everybody in your life is dealing with stuff. Everybody got family issues, inner child issues, a shadow. Everybody has issues. So a lot of the pain and the hurt that we get is not even about us. It's people just needing somewhere to put their shit because it's literally spewing out of their nose and their ears and their orifices. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody is dealing with shit, and sometimes a little bit of somebody else's shit gets on you. You don't want to sit there and cry and smear it in your skin, girl. Wash that shit off and keep going. You know, hard truth. But it's the true tea. You know, like, think back on the people who have hurt you. I'm sure they have not been well in the brain, you know, and if you think they are, then they really not. If you think somebody is well in the brain and healthy and they still being fucked up, then that's like a mastermind, evil genius, somebody that needs some medicine for real. But everybody is not well, you know, spiritually and physically. Like, a lot of people are dealing with mental issues that they are not talking about and have not dealt with. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of stress and confusion and trauma from their childhood and from relationships and just everyday life. You know, especially now, human beings are more fragile now than they ever have been. I would probably say if we've ever been more fragile, it's probably was like smack dab in the middle of 2020. But we are very, very fragile, and we're going to be fragile for a while, probably for the foreseeable future, to be honest. So we can see what people are doing to us, and we can experience it, and we can feel how we want to feel and set boundaries how we need to and let them know what we need. But you do not want to take it personally and allow it to attack you personally. You know what I'm saying? And that's a really hard truth, especially when it comes to family, because family is so fucked up, but also family a lot of times didn't really have a chance to be good because their family was bad and their family was bad, you know. So it's a lot, you know, it's a lot. But I feel like the more we welcome those hard truths and the more we welcome the real raw knowledge and the raw facts about being in this human experience, the less it knocks you off your feet, you know. And you'll still have bad days and still be confused, because I know all of this stuff, and I'm actively working now to kind of not be so upset when people do certain things and just really focus on my energy and make sure that I'm being as objective as possible. I'm kind of in the beginning of doing that right now, so I feel like I'm pretty good at it, but I know I'm gonna slip up because I'm human. But yeah, all of these things that I talked about in this video were things that I realized on this journey that kind of had me for a loop, you know, and definitely kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, because you want everything to be perfect and you want to feel like your life can be perfect or your life can be so much better than what it was. And I feel like it's true that my life is better now. I feel like that's definitely true, but it's not perfect, you know, and that's okay. So that's something else that we're never satisfied. I could talk all day about hard truths, you know, like we're never satisfied. We always want more, and it's a lot that goes into it, but we are human, and that is the journey, and that is the reality of it. But all of the hard truths does not, you know, stop the fact that knowledge is power, and you cannot learn anything or heal anything or fix anything if you don't know what the fuck is going on. So yeah, guys, that is some tea about some hard truths. I wanted to do a video, and I was like, what can I talk about? And I thought about this, so I hope y'all liked it. And I hope it made sense. I hope I wasn't rambling. I always feel like I'm rambling, but y'all say it makes sense, so we always go with it. But yeah, if y'all like this hard truth video and you want me to make more videos about hard truths, then I definitely will. So if you guys have some hard truths, leave them down below in the comment section, and I might talk about them in the next video. But yeah, I appreciate y'all as always. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys. Bless.